Hello!
Hello! Welcome to
The Film Critters.
Processes? I don't know why I'm asking it as a question. Welcome to Film Critters Processes? Are we processing right now?
Who can say that
Is this-
we can? The truth is out there.
Excuse me, waiter, is this processes? Is this Film Critters Processes?
Please send this back.
Please send this back. Por favor. There's a fly in my ointment.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
We're back. It's March. It's becoming springtime. And we have some movies that we've seen. We would love to talk to you about them. Are you okay with this? Are you in a space for this?
Are you ready to hear the truth about movies?
Are you ready to hear what they don't want you to know about feature film? Yeah, we watched two movies. We watched this might be a rougher episode for our more sort of cinema arts focused crowd.
I don't think
so.
I think they love Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, actually,
Paul
I mean,
W.S.?
like
Paul W.S. Okay, I always get him and Paul Tom confused.
the PTA,
good old PTA versus PWSA. It's real.
Yeah,
it's a real Paul's choice situation. I don't know.
Yeah. We checked out Monster Hunter and Run Hide Fight. So we had time. But yeah, I guess we'll start out with Monster Hunter. Jay, what'd you think of Monster Hunter?
I really wanted to like it as somebody who loved the Resident Evil series, who loved Mila Jovovich in those, who loves Event Horizon, who thinks that Paul W.S. Anderson is like one of the best, like just like garbagey, like junk food movies, but not in a way where it's like, oh, it's so bad it's good. It's like he has like a real like understanding of the craft of just making indulgent film.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when I saw that it was edited by Doobie White, who is also the person who edited the last Resident Evil movie, which was garbage, I got a little worried.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my worries were correct. and I did not even finish the film despite trying to like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
It was one of those films where I'd get 20 minutes in and I would literally be like, what happened? Like, what? Like, I just like don't remember what happened in this movie I'm currently watching.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. I am struggling to really kind of come up with. So I made it through, but I was also playing World of Warcraft with my boyfriend while I was watching it because it's rough. It's hard to get through. It's pretty bland. It's not really fun. It is weirdly kind of like an isekai. That's as much as I remember about it. It's like the United States Army has to deal with an unknown threat in a strange world. She's got to hunt monsters with Tony Jaa. But past that, there's palicos. There's palicos in it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Which was kind of like a thing that me and my boyfriend were like, are they going to do it? Is it going to be, are they actually going to have the nuts to like have the furry guys? And they did. And it was actually like a big buff palico who's like, I don't know. It was cool. It was cool to see that. And I guess I'm not really a Monster Hunter person. So I recognize some of the guys from fan art, I guess. So that was probably cool for somebody, but yeah, pretty bland movie, strangely enough.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, I think part of the problem is that it felt like this one was made specifically like, so it was released in China ahead of the United States.
Right.
And so there has been an ongoing thing of essentially American action films more or less being made for Chinese audiences, because that is where they end up making like the vast majority of their money. That's where you have like, I want to say like the Fast and Furious series, Transformers. There's like a lot of films where you're like, why did they make this and like spend so much money on it and then like dump it in theaters for like 2 weeks and then like not like basically it just disappeared? It is almost always because that movie does gangbusters in China and it's actually made for Chinese audiences. That Meg, that movie about the giant shark. Do you remember that from like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That was one of those. And a lot of times the tell is that they will have actors that are big actors in China, but not actors you ever see really in most American films. I believe in this case that was like MC Jin, maybe I think was one of them because he's like a rapper. And Tony Jaa, who is in a bunch of just like big good like Chinese action films.
Which is kind of ironic, I guess. Oh God, I forgot Ron Perlman is in this.
Yeah, he's
kind
also
of ironic. Apparently there was this controversy, according to the Wikipedia page, with regard to one of the lines spoken by Jin, which kind of caused this uproar in China. So, and like it ended up being like review bombed and like censored, just because, because of that, I guess, which is, a whole situation. But I mean, like, point being kind of, I don't know, target audience. The target audience has rejected this film, and so have, I guess, apparently the sort of tangential secondary audiences as well, because it's not very well liked, apparently.
Consequently, I feel like that there is a problem where it's sort of like, it is like how movies in like the early 2000s that played to American audiences tended to be really bad in very specific ways that tell like, oh, this is a run for the TNT network. Like this is something that is going to get dumped on afternoon television licensing. Like this is a movie that is planning to recoup its losses in a specific market in the United States. That market has now, instead of being the United States, has become China, because China has like a much larger, I think, movie going population. Like more people just go to movies than they do here.
More people, period.
And so it tends to be more of an orientation towards like visual action and less so towards like plot, like basically roller coaster movies is the way that I would describe them, because it is all spectacle and like the plot isn't really serviceable, which can be really, really fun and is a thing that I think Paul W.S. Anderson does great with normally. But this one seemed like it is a little bit too poised to like just kind of be a like phoning it in. Oh, they're going to give me this movie because I did so good at the Resident Evil series that they're like, well, you can have this other series now too.
Right.
It just did not feel like his best work. It felt very, very boring.
Yeah, I mean, like somehow it also felt really kind of small scale as well. Like something about its focus, and just like the sort of visual style. I don't know. I don't know whether to chalk that up to the editing or to like the design or what. But
the visual style is almost 100% the editing. So if I've been like trying to get everyone to watch the Resident Evil film series because I love them, but you can watch them, like if you watch them in a row and then you go to, I think it's Retribution, which is like the second to last one. Let me look at this.
Right.
Yes. And then you go to the last one, the like plummet in visual quality is immediate, and it is because of the editor. Like it is a different editor, and their editing style is that really obnoxious style that I hate, where it is rapid cuts that don't need to be done.
Yeah.
Like, and you could see it like early on in this one too, where it's like the characters are walking to their car and it cuts to like 3 or 4 different shots of them walking to the car in a row. And that is something that only started being a thing once Doobie White was brought on as an editor. It could be like, Paul W. Sanderson starting to move in that direction. I don't want to put it all on them, but it was a thing where it's like when we've noticed, like, why is this last film like so like much more like visually incoherent, whereas his action scenes tend to be like really, really tight and like have a lot happening in them, but like easy to follow.
Right.
We looked and it was, there's a completely different editor for this film.
Yeah, I mean, the rhythm, if you're going to make this style of movie where there's like, lots of setups, lots of different shots, lots of intercutting, you have to get the rhythm like really 100%, because I do feel like the RE movies kind of had that style down, and there was a lot of kind of like cool transitions and like in between stuff and blah blah blah, like all this kind of stuff that makes that style work, and yeah, not a lot of that here, sadly, but what can you do?
Yeah, it is very disappointing as somebody who was extremely excited to see this film and at one point wanted to see it in theaters. I was very bummed out that I couldn't even get through it. Like that I was so bored that I couldn't even get through it.
It's pretty rough.
I will say, maybe not in the film's defense, air quotes, but like definitely a part of it is that I have a lot of trouble getting through movies that are bad that are action movies. Like I can sit through a really bad movie in like horror film, drama, comedy, all kinds of things I can sit through. Bad action films are very difficult for me to sit through because I already think action is a boring genre.
Yeah, it absolutely can be. I mean, like, it's, I think people tend to kind of over rely or think that they can get away with things that are really simple, or people kind of tend to think that like the action is self-evident, when like, okay, one for example, like one reference point that this movie definitely had was Mad Max Fury Road, and the reason like Mad Max works because all of the action is just like I don't know, you really have to like, I almost feel like part of the process has to be like this sort of excitement for the like really minute ideas that you come up with and just like filling it with detail and like, because there's all these like really small touches, like during fights, like there's all of the, like they work with Max being like stuck to the front of the car. They work with every like injury becomes like part of the plot. Basically like everything has to be like a Chekhov's gun, like, and and if it's just kind of like, in this scene we will have 5 explosions and there will be 20 punches, and then we move to the next scene and it's just kind of boring for everybody.
The visual design of action is like shockingly underappreciated sometimes in action films, even as somebody who doesn't like action films. Like we watched Hard Boiled recently, the John Woo movie, and we were talking, and I was thinking about it afterwards, like that movie and Face Off, where as like goofy and like bad air quotes as Face Off is, the action scenes in Face Off are really good. Like they're really well designed little action scenes because John Woo like knows how to fucking construct action.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's like stakes and
stakes is it's a good way to put it. Or it's like, it's not even just like that there's stakes, it's that like all of the action that you see reasonably follows, like every cut and every shot reasonably follows the previous one in a way that recreates or creates this like exciting energy, this like inertia, this like kinetic, this people call it the what is it, bullet ballet in like films like Hard Boiled, where it's like this it has to have that same sort of flow of like a really good ballet where it's all about like the one leading into the other. And the problem with like this movie and this style of editing and these style of action films is that instead of like ballet or reasonable following, it's just like Next scene.
Thunk, 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 thunk,
Yeah,
thunk.
it's just hit. Runtime met. Hit. Break for a bad joke. Hit.
God damn. Yeah, it's just way too cookie cutter. It's insane that I would like watch this whole movie and forget completely about Tony Jaa, Ron Perlman, and T.I. all being characters. That's kind of an achievement. Also, I would be remiss to talk about a Paul W.S. Anderson film without talking about their body count, which...
Oh, yeah. So you were just telling me about this, and this wasn't a thing I knew. So, yeah, please get into this.
Yeah, so there's a lot of kind of stories floating around with regard to Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. For one, there was a stunt woman who had her arm amputated after an on-set accident during the shooting of that movie. And then a guy died. A guy got crushed to death. Ricardo Cornelius, a 34-year-old South African, was crushed by an Army-issue Hummer.
Jesus.
Which I just want to say, oh my God, it was his first job after a year of unemployment.
Oh, that's such a depressing... Don't tell me that.
I know, right? Like, after that, would you not, like, quit? Would you not, like, stop being a director or something? I don't know. Like, me.
I feel like there's
Hollywood.
I feel like there's like a weird thing with Hollywood where it's like, well, you know, it's a risk of the job. Is that sometimes you just watch a person die?
Yeah.
Right, John Landis.
Which, oh my God, I just watched the Oscar special where they think Mark dies, and that I have to imagine that was kind of a similar vibe on the Resident Evil set. Yeah, it's certainly something to have, like, you know, kind of outsourced labor from the place that you're filming, put themselves in mortal danger for the sake of your video game movie. Oh my fucking God. But I don't know. I guess that's part of the Paul W.S. Anderson expanded universe. Enjoy that factoid, everybody.
Every pony.
Every fucking pony. How's that feel?
Oh, it feels bad.
Yeah.
I'm doing the pulling on my necktie thing. Still gotta admit, great expanded universe of the wife guy filmmaking. Him and Rob Zombie unmatched.
Yeah. Thank God for Mila Jovovich. I did think that she was perfectly fine and fun here.
She's charming. It's just she's not in a movie that I give two shits about. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Love her. Love Ron Perlman. Love Tony Jaa. Fantastic. Everything. What would you rather have spent your streaming price on?
I think this movie had played at a drive-in, but like for drive-in money, you get to see two films.
Yeah, that's true.
So then when I didn't want to watch this anymore, we could have just driven to like a Jack in the Box or something after and gotten food there.
Yeah.
So I guess I would have rather have spent my streaming money on seeing this at a drive-in where I could have seen a different movie, and then we could have had a little road trip of some sort after we decided that this movie was boring and we wanted to leave.
I guess I would rather have spent it on Monster Hunter for this, like the game Monster Hunter, like the video game Monster Hunter, but possibly for Nintendo Switch.
Oh, like if it was, it would never be on sale on the Nintendo Switch. How would you?
No, but a girl can dream.
I was like, yeah, maybe if it was on sale and he's the Nintendo Switch, and I'm like, oh, that thing's never going on sale. The price is going to go up. They're going to re-release it, and it's going to be the same game but more expensive. Special pay $20 more edition.
Oh, Jesus. I guess I would not rather have spent my money on, I don't know, a World of Warcraft subscription, which is funny to say because I did spend my money on a World of Warcraft subscription either way, because human beings are very complicated.
Yeah, no, it's more, it's not coming from the same bank in that case, I guess.
Exactly.
So what I'd rather have not spent my money on, and here's the punchline, is whatever subscription service or whatever that you have to use to watch Daily Wire movies, because our next movie is released by the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's news outlet, which apparently which is trying to get into films, like film distribution and film production now, and they just like couldn't get any, so they just like bought this movie to distribute. And that's our next movie, which I will openly. Well, actually, wait. Can Ben Shapiro sue me if I say that? Who gives it? I pirated it. I didn't fucking pay money for this next movie.
Oh yeah, no. No money went to Ben. Sorry, Ben.
Unless I can get in trouble for it, in which case somebody else bought me a copy of this film, and that's how I watched it.
Yeah. No. Same here. My sugar daddy was like, I know how much you love movies.
I saw this down at the old Red Box for $3. Yeah. Which, by the way, still around. Didn't know that until we rented something from a Red Box recently and didn't watch it. But it was a fun experience.
Pay $1 to have a fun little journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am about to be pulled into the debate dome against my will because there's, I don't know, there is a lot to kind of rebut that this movie puts forward about the world that to me kind of seems to come from a really like sheltered idiot, like neocon sort of like rich person, overly media poisoned view of how things work in real life. So I guess, that we'll kind of segue into that. Jay, did you have any like kind of standout thoughts with regard to Run, Hide, Fight?
Which is, of course, the film we were talking about.
Yes.
My standout thought is that it should have been worse. It should have been
kind of with you.
So because I watched this before Baru did, and I went in with it with two of my friends where we have a whole thing where we just love like exploitative films. Like we love exploitation cinema. It's exploitative is maybe the wrong word. We love exploitation cinema. And so we were like, man, this is probably going to be like really garbage, but we had read some review. Let me find it. It's cause it's we had read one review which described the main shooter in this film, which has a quartet of shooters, as being the Joker. Yeah. And then we had another review which described it as Die Hard in a high school. And just like every review I like read from this like made it sound the other one this is the one that made me go I want to read it was a Guy Lodge of Variety said it was a cross between Elephant, the Gus Van Sant film about school shootings, and The Hunger Games. And all of these just made me go, I gotta see this. Like this sounds like such a mess. I have to see it. And then it just kind of like plays it safe. Safe is like feels like the wrong word. It is a film that is finally like, you know what? James, who watched it, has put it really well, where it's like, this is the kind of movie that it can only be made in a culture where school shootings are so rare, like that it can be used as like this is the unthinkable tragedy, or they're so common that you can just make a movie like this. And this film doesn't want to commit to being that second one. Like it does not want to commit to acknowledging that like we live in a fucked up world where mass shootings are so common that like you can make an exploitative action film. You can make an action film that's just like, here's a fantasy for what you will do if you're ever in a school shooting, which statistically you might end up being in.
Yeah.
That like
it's like the Mary Sue thing, but like for mortal danger that is inflicted on like kids.
Yeah, which is like That's exploitation cinema. It is by design exploitative of like real things. But the film like kind of became too self-aware that that's what it was doing. And so they kind of just like try to be like, no, we want this to be like, we just really want to open like a dialogue. And it's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you fucking don't.
Oh my god!
You want to have your little fantasy of girl soldier daughter, who loves her dad and is apparently insane, but like they just kind of like blow past that repeatedly. And she does illegal wrestling moves and kung fu takedowns of all the mass shooters who represent the 4 archetypes of shooter. Bo Burnham, nerd kid, kid with an unspecified mental illness, and girl. The girl one was really threw me for a loop because I don't think there's been any girl school shooters.
Oh my god, I think there actually have been 1 or 2, but okay. Every morning I put in my VHS of Run, Hide, Fight and do all the moves with etc. etc. So, let's talk about the shooters for a second. So, I happen to be a little bit studied with regard to the concept of school shooters because Columbine kind of happened, like, right before... I mean, like, it was sort of... Like, I think I was in elementary school or some shit like that, but it kind of colored and affected, like, the rest of my school life and the rest of everybody else's school life. Because, you know, like, if you're in the post-Columbine world and you draw a gun... or you write a story with some violence in it, all of a sudden there are some problems.
Oh yeah, no, I feel like 70% of the people I know have some sort of story to the extent of I remember one of my friends told me like, yeah, I had an enemies list and it wasn't a problem. And then Columbine happened. And like a month later, they were like, we got to pull you into the office because you have an enemies list. But it's like, they're like 9. So enemies. So it's like an enemies list is like, here's a list of people who were mean to me on the playground.
So I wanted to kind of understand. I think a lot of people kind of glare into the sort of, like eclipse, you know, sort of like something so horrible happens, you kind of want to like try to piece together and understand it. So I've read a good deal about like, for example, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold and like Cho Sang Hui and like other people of that general sort of kind of mental makeup. And I don't want to just say that the thing about them is that they're stupid narcissists, and just like not very smart. Because ostensibly, to a certain extent, it's like a disability, right? It's like sociopathy, and kind of you know, depression and feeling kind of separate from society is like technically you know, those are technically disabilities, and that sucks. And at the same time, these people all school shooters tend to kind of not even in so much of like a political axis way, but like for example, Eric Harris was like a German fucking weeb. He was like a full Nazi. He like wrote in German in his diary.
I'm sorry, but describing like the teen 90s trench coat neo-Nazi kid as German weeb is very funny. A gweeb, if you will.
A gweeb. He literally wrote, like, you know how like people make fun of anime kids for saying kawaii and like shit like that. Yeah. Like that's what he would do in his diary with German words. He was a fucking loser. Which, you know, calling the school shooter a loser is maybe a little on the nose, but you know, whatever. And yeah, and he hated gay people, which is funny to me because a lot of kind of like, for example, in Elephant, and also in this movie, there is this kind of subtext of like, oh, the shooters express homosexuality, which kind of couldn't be farther from the truth, but that's okay. He was also a brutal. Eric Harris was also a brutal racist as well. So I guess point being, when we take a look at the school shooters in Run, Hide, Fight, the movie, I don't really see the psychological makeup of what I guess I would expect. So for one thing, the punk girl is way too cool to be a school shooter. She would absolutely never be caught dead with these dorks.
That's yeah. So, complete sidebar. Okay, so they do introduce that by adding this weird. They explain that by having this weird like. I thought I had imagined it, but two or three other people who've watched this film also brought it up independently of me.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
There seems to be an indication that the main school shooter, the ringleader kid, is fucking both the girl and the mentally ill one, who are related. Who are brother and sister. Baby.
Teorema 2021 remake. It is
that line dropped, and like, me and my friends were watching it. This girls were like, "Wait a second, hold on, what did he just say?"
Yeah,
because at first when they said it, I didn't realize that guy and the girl shooter were actually brother and sister. When he first said it, I thought the implication was that because like they definitely show that like the mentally ill kid, it's like vaguely schizophrenia. Maybe, but like that kind of like bad movie writing where they think schizophrenia is also multiple personality disorder. So at first I thought what they were implying is that he and the main school shooter were fucking, but only when the guy was dressed as a girl and pretending to be his non-existent sister. Was disappointed it wasn't that bad. But there does seem to be a line that implies that he's at least dating both of them, which is an insane thing to introduce into your film. But I do agree that girl being involved in it is baffling because it's like she doesn't fit. Like you said, the profile. She's like. Yeah. She fits the profile that would make sense that this film was still made in the 90s when people were like, goth kids are going to shoot up the school because they're scary. Yeah. But nobody, like, people, like, that's just how kids dress now. Like, kids love mall goth shit. Like, what? Like,
if a kid is wearing, like, mall goth shit, that means they probably have, like, a good social life and they probably go to the mall. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
If a kid is wearing goth shit, they have a lot of friends and people love them. And they're cool. And they probably listen to 100 Gex. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Like, the kids that you have to watch out for, like, Cho Seung-hui, oh my god, what was his favorite song again? It was, like, the most, like, radio-friendly. Oh yeah, Shine by Collective Soul. It was a song that he listened to, like, like, the kid who's into Collective Soul and who wears, like, the oversized hoodie, like, worry about that kid. And, like, but I don't know, whatever.
No, I think you're right. No, it is, a lot of school shooters are, like, despite the image that was put into the media, this is the only way to put it, are just corrupted normies.
Yeah.
They are always just like the guy, like the most shockingly normal people who are usually like losers to an extent, but in a very normal way. They're just much higher level of ego to where like they can't cope with that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely like a huge sort of ego aspect. I mean, like, I don't know. The girl's really just here because, like, oh, what if a school shooter had like a Harley Quinn in it? Oh, wouldn't that be?
You're right. It is just so it is just like the like. Oh, we need to have a Harley Quinn. Like it's like Suicide Squad. Yeah. This is our Suicide Squad.
Oh my god. So to kind of touch on my feelings on like the level of nihilism here as well, and just like the cynicism of this movie, there's kind of to have this kind of attitude, the attitude that the movie has, where it's like, this is the way the world is, and you either run, you hide, or you fight, and like it's just kind of monologuing at you almost, or proselytizing, or whatever the fucking word is. It's to include things like, basically, I think that, like, if you pick up a fucking camera, you point it at what you want to see, right? Or what you think, in some movies' cases, like, what you think might enrich or make somebody think, et cetera, et cetera. But at a certain point, it's like, this movie just kind of wants to call school shooters fags, even though that's kind of disconnected from reality. This movie really wants you to look at kids getting killed because I don't fucking know why. Like, at a certain point, if you point your camera at that, that's what you're showing. It doesn't matter if there's a layer of like, oh, wouldn't this be so fucked up? It's like, you're literally making you're literally making Die Hard, but about fucking school shootings and about kids die. I don't know, like, that seems fucking insane to me that you would like try to, in theory, have this like to even like try to insist that you have even remotely good intentions with a movie like this is mind-boggling to me.
The no joke, the part of the film like within that like really was like was oddly enough one of the school shooters getting killed. It was the kid getting sniped by the girl's dad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, am I supposed to feel good about this scene? Because you've done a really good job of like convincing me that this kid like literally doesn't know what's going on. like you have basically told me, yeah, this kid is like super unwell and is being exploited by the nihilist Bo Burnham guy, but he's also like really big and strong, so it's fine that this Marine dad just fucking shot him through the face.
Yeah. I mean,
because it's like it's not a scene that's presented like all these other deaths. Like even the other school shooters' deaths are presented as these like, you know, like struggles and stuff, or these things of just like, oh, like it's gotten so bad that we had to kill a girl. You know, like, and it's fine, like, because like the death with the main nihilist shooter at the end, that's like horrifying, at least is fine within the like okay, that's movie revenge logic, whatever. But in that scene, it's like I don't know, man, like that's just kind of a bummer. I'm just kind of bummed out watching this.
Yeah, it doesn't feel fantastic. It's also okay.
Sorry, but before I forget, complete sidebar, hilarious to have AU fan fiction of what's her name, the girl who got shot at Columbine, who allegedly was asked, "Do you believe in God?" before they shot her. And then in this film, they quote that, but she doesn't get shot. She owns them with facts and logic. Like that. Damn. That was insane to me. It was just like it's one thing to like kind of quote that scene in your movie or even like create like an alternate version of it. It is completely opposite. It is like completely like insanely hilarious to just be like, you know, if she was smarter about the Bible, she would have been fine though. Like she would have just been like, actually, God is real, and here's why. And the shooter would have just been like, damn. All right.
You're so right. I will put my guns down now. And
you make a good point. I'm just gonna move on to the next kid. Sorry, I got it way over my head here.
Yeah. I mean, like, this movie absolutely has a chip on his shoulder, as evidenced by the amount of like quippy, stupid little lines, like, oh, all this like subtle, like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like, how hard is it to build a wall?
Oh God.
And like, are you triggered? Trigger warning, everybody! Wow, are we trending yet?
Oh fuck!
Genuinely,
the whole fucking
so
are we
fucking
trending
annoying.
shit.
Yeah.
Again, if this movie was eviler, I could accept the school shooter's motivation being to be famous, because that's stupid. But that that at least would match like a stupid exploitation film. But it's like it doesn't want to do it. It's like, no, we're trying to have a conversation. It's like, no, you're not. Just make the movie you want to make.
Yeah, for real. And I mean, like, part and parcel to how much that shit doesn't work and how inconsistent and kind of like full of holes a lot of the movie's logic is, the main character, with regards to the school shooters who are shooting and killing people, says at one point kind of late in the movie, this punishment doesn't fit any crime, which is funny because she has murdered at least 2 of them by that point. So apparently murder fits some crimes, but not others, I guess. I don't know. This is a movie that exists inside of the brains of people who kind of imagine a sort of like God mode where you can kind of just no clip through a school shooter experience in real life, which is fantastic. I'm glad that that's the way that people are thinking about solving this problem instead of anything that's useful.
The weirdest thing about it is that it's like ideas of like what to do in case of a school shooting is just like, oh, well, we need like slightly better policies about like, you know, like if
we need the security guard to have a gun.
Yeah, the security guard needs to have a gun, which is like, yeah, that really helped out at the
Have you ever met a high school security guard in your life?
The fucking Parkland shooting where the security guards did have guns, and so they didn't go into the school because they didn't want to get shot.
Fucking for real. That solves absolutely nothing.
Or the one where it's like, oh, like we can't go into lockdown until we confirm that a school shooting is going on, which is like, is that a common policy? But it's like, I don't know if that's a policy that would really make or break a situation that is usually started and resolved in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's basically this like entire $2.7 billion industry of backseat gamers who are just like, you need to be prepared in the event of a shooting. We're going to outfit your school with bulletproof whiteboards, and we're gonna run all your kids through countless drills to kind of prepare to be fucking picked off like fucking livestock, I guess. But like only in fucking America would a like multi-billion-dollar industry crop up around mass death, and people don't really like see that as like fucked up. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, it's not exactly our first one.
Yeah. That's true. You get what you pay for.
God, what a dumb, like, it's just like it's just such a like, it's also not a very well like made film like, give me one positive attribute. Like pretend you're not a cuck lib, whatever. Like, even if you were a conservative, name like one positive attribute of the main character.
Oh, of the main character?
Yeah.
Oh god. I mean, she has superhuman abilities of deductive reasoning. She is very composed, I guess, which makes sense because she's right. I mean, that's the other thing. Okay, the idea of a daughter who's like really excited to like murder a deer is such a specific like conservative dad fantasy. I feel like, oh, come on, oh, daughter, we gotta put this guy out of his misery. We've already shot him, and you're strangling it with your bare hands. Oh, you're twisting the head right off the body. I had a girl. Oh, you're drinking the blood right from the neck of the. Oh, there you go. That's my girl.
I love the construction of the film where it's like, my daughter. Oh, it's like, oh man, my daughter's problem. She makes me too proud. she's just too good at all these things that I'm teaching her to do. It's like, it's really hard that my daughter is just, she's just too great. It's like the protagonist from The Hunt, but like got like shrank down to be a teenager.
Yeah, it's such a self-insert.
It's so that lame. Exact level of just like, this character is like a non-entity. This character feels like a video game character. Everyone
100%.
else in the film, her like wimpy like friend who has a crush on her has like more of a character arc in this film than she does. Her character arc is her dead mom, played by Isabel something or other from Silent Hill, the Silent Hill woman.
Oh God!
Yeah, that's her.
Jesus.
That's her. It's. I was like, the whole film, I was like, why does she look familiar? It's because she's Rose in Silent Hill. Her mom tells her what her character arc is the whole film. She's like, you're really sad. You gotta run. Oh, but now you have to hide. Daughter, you're not a runner or a hider. You're a fighter. Kill that child. I will say, actually threw me off. The actually impressive choice in filmmaking to have a scene where, so like the girl's mom is dead, and she's basically is talking to her the whole film, and when her mom shows up first, like she's bald because she's like, oh, I had cancer and I died of cancer. I love you, honey. And you know, in most films like this, we understand that figure isn't really there, that this is sort of like a metaphorical internal dialogue where the character is sort of imagining like, oh, if my mom was here right now, what would she be saying to me? Like, you know, what would she tell me? This is the first film I've ever seen have a scene where a character just goes, you're talking to thin air. Where it is just like, no, this isn't a metaphor. This isn't a visualization of a character's internal dialogue. Our main character is literally sitting down and talking to her dead mother who isn't there.
Buddy.
Which was like hilarious when they actually had that, because I'm like, oh, you don't understand like that is not like how like that visually that's not usually what these scenes represent. Like you can only interpret these scenes very literally in a movie.
It's a really weirdly like homeward bound sort of kids movie touch to have here.
Yeah.
where it's like she is diegetically being a freak and not just like, oh, there's this sort of like other layer of the movie. No, it's just like, no, she's definitely being a fucking weirdo in this sort of universe that we're supposed to accept as like a sort of
she is
relatively realistic.
She is actively hallucinating her mother, which creates a weird narrative where it's like this film has a fight scene between, I guess, the good schizophrenic and the bad schizophrenic is the implication.
Yeah, the good mental illness versus the bad kind.
The virgin religious delusions versus the Chad dead mother delusions.
Oh my God, Jesus! But yeah, I don't know how much more I have to say necessarily about Run Hide Fight. It's just weirdly sort of disconnected from the real world, which it is now also attempting to comment on, which is always fun.
Perhaps the real world is the world inside your mind, and that's where you do, and that is where you have to run, hide, and fight the liberal menace. It's so funny that like this is the film that they're like, we're premiering our Daily Wire film distribution on the back of this.
Yeah, their flagship start is very, very bold. I don't think very many people have seen this movie, it turns out. So, you know, maybe that nips itself in the bud there.
It's legitimate. I forgot about the funniest thing about that. So do you want to know how they got Run, Hide, Fight?
How?
So it was basically produced by Cinestate, which is the production, like it's like a movie studio that worked with S. Craig Zahler, who's like a right-wing exploitation director. He did Bone Tomahawk and Brawl and Cellbook 99 through Cinestate. Those are like his most well-known films. They also acquired Fangoria. Now the problem with distributing this film is that it came out, it was set for like a 2020 release.
Sure.
And in June 2020, we get this article from IndieWire. Cinestate faces backlash following sexual misconduct allegations. So basically, the film became toxic brand because of not just its content and also its possible political connotations, but also because right around when it would have like been starting to get shopped around, the company became embroiled in a massive like miniature like Weinstein level like controversy, and that is how the Daily Wire ended up getting it, because as far as I know, it just nobody wanted to touch this film before that.
Oopsie. What would you rather have spent your money on?
Money that I spent. Fuck. I would just like maybe a couple months on like a podcast Patreon. Probably like any podcast Patreon. Like well, maybe not any.
Yeah.
Like moderate to left. Or just a comedy one. I could just do a funny podcast.
Yeah. Funny guys. Yeah, absolutely. I would have spent my money on like someone's itch.io fucking zine or whatever shit like that. I would not rather have spent my money on. So I actually have like a shooter preparedness book that I won during a work shooter preparedness drill. And I didn't spend any money on it, but if I had, I would not have wanted to spend money on it.
How is it? How is the book?
I have not cracked it open at all, but it's sitting in my bookshelf. Maybe I should read it and see how it is.
Yeah. No, see what advice it gives you. I would rather have not spent my money on literally anything that props up the school shooter preparedness economy, which as we should be able to tell by every school shooting that has ever happened, is clearly a massive scam.
It is absolutely like it's total scam, total fucking scam. So have fun with that. Have fun with those drills, everybody. I hope they work. Praying for all of us, really. Yeah, I guess. Does everybody like how we sidestepped the Second Amendment debate?
Yeah, no, we're not. I'm not even gonna bother. No. If you want to have that debate, go literally anywhere else on the internet. People have that debate fucking everywhere. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Isn't relevant to this. We're talking about a movie, and we're talking about school shootings, which are massively complicated issues that can be talked about with regards to cultural outproduction, not policy. Don't talk to us about guns. We don't care.
Yeah, fuck you. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. We have a Patreon exclusive series where if you pay $5 a month or more, you get to hear Film Critters Throws It Back. It is a series where we talk about movies from bygone eras. And in February we talked about Bound with our friend Mia Schwartz, and in March we're going to be apparently talking about a movie called The Devils, also with our friend Mia Schwartz again.
Oh, yeah. And then I don't know what we're going to do after that.
Yeah, who fucking knows? Listen, April is 1,000 years away. But we also stream. Jay, what's going on with your stream?
Lately, I've been streaming the Remedy games on Wednesday. Just going to be starting the Max Payne series, and then moving on to Quantum Break and Control. Then on Mondays, I stream kind of random games. It's a chaotic Monday concept. Chaos Mondays is the theme. And then on Saturdays, which I'll sometimes just like dip out on doing a Saturday because I'm not really feeling it. I usually just do short games. Last Saturday I did Stranglehold, which is why we watched Hard Boiled.
Yeah.
What about you, Brew?
Oh my gosh. So I typically stream Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesday night I have started playing a video game called Cattails.
Oh.
And what Cattails is it's Stardew Valley, but you are a cat, and everyone is a cat, and it's kitty cat world, feral cat world.
Cat.
I want to go.
Cat. Be cat. Cat now. Cat mode.
Cat time. And then on Friday, been streaming Ebe with my friend Rizzo, who recommended me the game. It's very interesting and fun so far. So yeah, hop in for those. Tuesday at 7 Pacific, Friday at 3 Pacific.
We also have a Discord.
Discord!
Click that down below. It's right there. Look at it.
Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us. We'll hopefully see you soon. I'll give you lots of updates, some more processes. And yeah, we love you very much. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.